You're exhausted from trying, but the result is still zero. You work hard. You persevere. You sacrifice sleep and social joys, yet the outcome remains a cycle of fatigue, frustration, and burnout. You watch others rise, break through, and ask yourself, what am I missing? The answer is strategic thinking. It's not about working harder, but working smarter. Not about running faster, but running in the right direction. Strategy is what turns effort into results, and ordinary people into those who take control. If you keep living on autopilot, making decisions based on impulse, and have no idea where you're headed sooner or later, life will decide for you. It's time to wake up. It's time to think like a strategist for your own life. Part 1. The concept of life strategy, a framework for personal transformation. Strategy isn't just for corporations or businesses. When transformed correctly, strategy becomes a compass for personal life. It enables us to make cohesive and systemic decisions, instead of living reactively and randomly. Applying strategic principles to life isn't about control, but about knowing what's worth investing in, what needs to change, and what to let go. It's a way to live with intention, not letting life drift by unconsciously. Here, strategy becomes a form of freedom. Life is not merely a sequence of reactions to circumstances. It is a space for creation. When you see yourself as the designer of your life, every action becomes a link in a larger system. You're no longer lost in trivial daily choices, but feel that each step aligns with something consistent. Strategic thinking is the tool for intentional living. It allows you to answer the most important question. What are you living for? And how do you live true to that? Part 2. The 7 strategic steps, a standardized model for personal growth. Step 1 asks the foundational question: what does a good life mean to me? This is your moment to define success by your own standards, not societal recognition, but a deep sense of fulfillment. With a clear definition, you avoid chasing goals that aren't yours. Answering this question helps you set a personal standard that becomes the basis for all future decisions. A good life is one with clear purpose and individual criteria for happiness. Step 2 involves discovering your life purpose, the reason you exist on this planet. It's a big, essential question, because without purpose, you live in reaction, not creation. Step 3 is crafting a life vision, your aspirational future. When purpose and vision align, you have a destination strong enough to guide daily actions. This isn't fantasy. It's a compass to stay grounded amid life's turbulence and temptations. Step 4 evaluates your life portfolio areas where you invest work: health, family, learning, leisure. You assess how much time you spend, how important each is, and your satisfaction level. Step 5 calls for learning from others and proven success standards. Not to copy, but to reflect and filter values that fit. A flexible reference mindset helps you avoid blind spots and accelerate growth. Step 6 is the heart of the model: synthesize data from prior steps into an integrated life strategy. Here, you clarify what to amplify, reduce, or start doing now. Step 7 emphasizes sustainability. Real change doesn't come from a spark of inspiration, but from consistent adaptation. For strategy to work, you need regular reassessment and flexible adjustments. This proactive stance creates a conscious life. Part 3. Defining a good life. Shifting away from wealth and power. In today's society, many people are caught up in a definition of success based on money, fame, and power. But these only bring short-term satisfaction. Once achieved, you quickly adjust to the new level and crave more. This is the cycle of emotional adaptation, where happiness keeps moving further away. At the same time, you're drawn into social comparisons, and personal joy is overshadowed by others' achievements. That kind of success exhausts you because you're always trying to prove your worth. It's time to change your life's measuring stick. Not what do I have, but how do I feel living this way? A good life can't be molded by external standards. It must be shaped by a deep sense of inner fulfillment. When you shift your focus inward, you begin to free yourself from the pressure of superficial success. You stop running and start feeling. This is the first step to redefining life's meaning in an authentic and sustainable way. Quality of life isn't about showing off. It's about feeling true to yourself. Shifting to intrinsic values helps you invest in the right things. Your health, relationships, learning, and meaningful actions. When peace and contentment become your success criteria, you cut ties with others' expectations. You begin living with real freedom, not needing more, but needing the right things. Then, you don't just live a life worth living, but a life worthy of who you truly are. Part 4. The PERMA-V framework, a blueprint for a flourishing life. A good life can't be measured by money or status. It must be felt through enduring inner qualities. The PERMA-V model is the lens to assess life's quality across 6 pillars: positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, accomplishment, and vitality. It's not just an assessment tool, it's a navigation system. When you view life through PERMA-V, you'll see what's lacking, what needs nurturing, and what energizes you. This clarity fuels effective action. Positive emotion reflects your optimism and joy. Engagement shows how immersed you are in meaningful activities. Relationships reveal the depth of your connection with others. Meaning highlights the importance of living for something bigger than yourself. Accomplishment doesn't have to be grand, but it must be real and pride-worthy. Vitality is the mental and physical foundation that supports everything else. Each pillar is a puzzle piece of overall well-being. Applying PERMA-V to life strategy means evaluating each pillar using 3 indicators: importance, satisfaction, and time investment. This is how awareness turns into action. Instead of vaguely knowing something's missing, you can pinpoint what's lacking, where it is, and how to change it. When PERMA-V becomes your strategic tool, you no longer drown in emotional confusion. Instead, you have a vivid emotional map to help adjust and rebuild your life daily. Part 5. Life Portfolio, a personalized strategic matrix. Personal life can be viewed like a business operating across multiple sectors. Instead of products or departments, you have life strategy units such as family, health, work, learning, social connection, or spiritual beliefs. The time and energy invested into each area form your overall life portfolio, like a strategic manager. You need to know where your resources are going, whether they're generating value, and how you feel about each life domain. This is how emotions become quantifiable, helping you make wiser decisions. To assess your life portfolio, you need 3 metrics for each area: importance, satisfaction, and time invested. When plotted on a 2-dimensional chart, importance on the y-axis, satisfaction on the x-axis, and bubble size representing time, you get a sharp visual of your life at a glance. This isn't just data play. It's a mirror showing how you're really living, where you're investing a lot but feel unfulfilled, or where you neglect what matters, all becomes unmistakably clear. Strategy begins with truth. The power of a life portfolio lies in turning data into direction. You don't have to change everything at once, but you must identify areas of imbalance that could lead to long-term consequences. A life portfolio isn't for observation, it's for action. It helps you discern what to improve, what strengths to build on, and what activities to reduce. From a strategic lens, you start reallocating life resources with mindfulness instead of blindly following habits or social pressure. Part 6. The Priority Action Zone. Top left corner of the matrix. The top left corner of your life strategy matrix highlights areas of high importance but low satisfaction. This is not just an inner tension zone, it's the priority action zone. When something matters but isn't nurtured, you'll soon face mental strain or strained relationships. Surprisingly, Most people have at least one, sometimes three areas in this zone. Identifying these hotspots lets you take action before disappointment turns into crisis. Small bubbles tucked away in the upper left corner often hold the deepest emptiness. It could be a cooling relationship, a neglected personal project, or overlooked mental health. No need for drastic overhauls. Sometimes a simple act like calling 3 old friends, joining a short course, or restarting light exercise can create a shift. A small action in the right direction can realign your entire life trajectory. This high-importance, low-satisfaction zone isn't a sign of failure. It's a signal for growth potential. It's the clearest opportunity to enhance life quality. This is where you should reinvest time and emotion. Action here often creates a ripple effect. Improving one area positively impacts your entire life portfolio. The key is not to ignore the signals, not to delay change, and not to justify it with busyness. Begin where your heart feels the most unrest. Part 7. Resource optimization. Reducing time for low-value activities. The bottom right corner of the life matrix gathers activities you spend a lot of time on, but bring little satisfaction and lack real importance. This is the drain zone where resources quietly bleed away. Activities like mindless social media scrolling, prolonged entertainment without intention, or repetitive habits that no longer nourish you, all add up, silently draining your life energy. Facing this zone requires courage, but it's essential to reclaim control over your life. Many people are shocked after completing their life matrix. Most of their time resides in meaningless bubbles. This truth isn't meant to make you feel guilty, but to wake you up. A simple action like deleting a social media app, setting screen time limits, or swapping empty time for nourishing alternatives like reading, exercising, or journaling can make a big difference. The point isn't to do less, but to do better. Reducing strategic errors is the fastest way to improve life effectiveness. Optimizing resources doesn't mean maximizing output. It means redirecting energy flow with purpose. When you deliberately reduce investment in low-value activities, you don't just reclaim time, you free your mind. This opens up precious space to develop the areas that truly nourish you. Remember, every hour saved from the drain zone is an hour gifted to something meaningful. You don't need more time, you need less waste. That is the foundation of a wise life strategy. Part 8. Redesigning life. Realigning to personal goals. Once you've evaluated each life unit based on importance, satisfaction, and time invested, you now hold the full data set needed to restructure your life. This is the shift from observing to shaping. Not every area needs to reach optimal status, but your overall layout should reflect what you truly value. Remember, the goal isn't to live more, it's to live more rightly. A reorganized portfolio gives you a sense of coordination, agency, and peace instead of being stuck in familiar chaos. Redesigning life strategy is like remodeling a house. Some areas need expansion, others should be downsized, and some might require tidying up or complete removal. You might choose to spend more time with family, focus on your health, rekindle your love for learning, or deepen your spiritual connection. Every adjustment begins with deeper self-understanding. When your life aligns with your chosen values and goals, you no longer feel scattered. Instead, you feel reconnected with your true self. An effective life portfolio is one where your values, actions, and emotions are in harmony. It doesn't require perfection, but demands integrity in your choices. You'll notice a real difference when your investments reflect the person you aspire to be. That's the moment you stop living by external expectations and start living with intention. This journey isn't easy, but it's profoundly worth it. Because once you consciously choose your life, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the architect of your own existence. Part 9. Small changes, big transformations. Many people believe that changing their life requires a complete personal revolution. But in reality, deep transformation often starts with something very small. A call to an old friend, a workout after a long pause, 1 hour away from social media. These small acts, when repeated with intention, can pull you out of inertia and trigger a chain of positive effects. The point isn't to do a lot, but to start at the right point. Once you build momentum for positive action, you gain the foundation to keep moving forward. Strategic thinking doesn't just stay on paper, it must turn into concrete behavior. When you change how you invest your time, you're changing the flow of your life itself. Don't underestimate the power of small decisions. Each well-directed action is a vote for the person you want to become. Consistency in small changes will gradually shape a greater life. That's how life strategy creates lasting impact, not through short bursts, but through steady, conscious effort every day. Part 10. Open mindset and opportunity. The core of a flexible life strategy. Strategy is not a rigid framework that stifles flexibility. On the contrary, a good strategy helps you know where you're going so you can recognize the right opportunities when they appear. Without a destination, you won't know which chances to seize and which ones to decline. Living with direction is a way to stay open to the unexpected without losing inner coherence. When you know what truly matters to you, you won't be swept up by every opportunity. You'll choose the one that fits best. The world is constantly changing, and no one can predict the future with certainty. But uncertainty isn't a reason to give up. It's the reason you need a life strategy that's both grounded and open. You can adjust your path, change your tools, even choose a new route, but you'll still keep your values as your guiding compass. With a life strategy, you don't panic in the face of change. Instead, you use it as an opportunity to grow. Not every wind is favorable, but a person with direction always knows how to steer the sail. Opportunities are for those who are ready. You might call it luck, but luck only arrives when preparation already exists. Life strategy helps you prepare for opportunities not by predicting the future, but by building a strong foundation from within. When you act with awareness and live by your own strategy, you'll find that good things start to come your way. A life worth living doesn't happen by chance. It's the result of purposeful choices, steady commitment, and an open mind to lead the way. Life strategy is not merely a tool, it is a clear declaration of how a person faces chaos. When every choice carries consequences, ambiguity is no longer a safe zone, it becomes a trap. Not everything needs to be controlled, but lack of direction is too high a price for a drifting life. A strategy doesn't make life rigid, it gives it a spine, a backbone where all softness can rest. If you don't know what is essential, what must be preserved while the world constantly changes, what will you hold on to? If each day passes without leading anywhere, what is being lost? To reject a life strategy is to surrender your journey to random winds, living reactively instead of reflectively. Every person deserves to live a life that is not passive, not adrift, not dim. That is a choice, not a coincidence. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video.